Jeremiah Smith was robbed of the 2025 Biletnikoff Award, which means we've had this dude playing college football for 2 years that everybody and their mama believes the best player in the friggin' sport. And we don't even make him the best wide receiver in the sport in 2025. And we don't even make him a Heisman finalist in 2025. Talk about why this is starting to get under my skin. Talk about 2024 a little bit, Travis Hunter, and what folks that cover football, that talk about football, that draft players, and that got a coach against Jeremiah Smith have told me. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year-round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you believe that Jeremiah Smith was robbed of the 2025 Biletnikoff Award? Makai Lemon won the 2025 Biletnikoff Award. Makai Lemon is a deserving winner of this award. I do not believe he should have won this award. He had 1,100 yards receiving, 11 TDs, 79 catches. By comparison, Jeremiah Smith had over 1,000 yards receiving, missed a game, same number of TDs, right? And 80 catches. He's already got more catches this year than he did last year. And while last year there's an argument for Travis Hunter, for which probably going into the postseason, Travis Hunter's best wide receiver, you might think, right? Given Jeremiah Smith was mostly shut down against Michigan, and that was the last game that anybody got to see before they got to cast their ballots. I also think that it's ridiculous that we do these things where we want to crown the best players in positions in sport before the postseason. I kind of think that we should end the balloting after the conference championship weekend, but then we could extend it past and also not end up giving this thing away until February. Honestly, I believe the Heisman Trophy will be given away in March, but it's never going to happen. It's going to happen on ESPN's terms, because just to show you the little man at the controls calling himself Oz. Many of these awards are told by ESPN. They must tell everybody tell ESPN who the winner is before Sunday evening. And dare I say, if they gets leaked out, they're gonna have a problem, right? So all this, also they can do the Zoom college football show now. Like, they don't even invite people down there anymore. They just do it on Zoom and put 3 hosts up there. Used to be a big deal. Used to be very cool. Used to be back-to-back nights. Used to be Fowler on both. Now it's just the Heisman friggin' trophy and the college football award show, which I think is ridiculous. I think it's also demeaning to the sport. You could do better. We could do better, frankly, if we wanted to make these into a bigger deal and we want to get everybody online. But since you got everybody working for themselves, Biletnikoff Award people, Heisman Trophy people, Outland Trophy people, Doak Walker Award people, Walter Camp Award people, Davey O'Brien Award people, Jim Thorpe Award people, Broyles Award people. Some folks are really cool. Broyles Award is very cool. And they work very hard to make sure that the right people are the finalists and the winner doesn't come out of nowhere. But in this case, like, I'm looking at the Biletnikoff Award, I'm going, what is it? Are you just waiting on Jeremiah Smith to be draft eligible? Because that's stupid. That's stupid. I don't want to see these awards spread out. These aren't participation trophies for kind of being decent. These are, who's the damn best? Who's the best? Makai Lemon, the best wide receiver in college football this year? Carnell Tate was a better wide receiver than Makai Lemon. Makai Lemon made some great catches here. Omar Cooper, Elijah Surratt, just so I'm not picking on Buckeyes here and Buckeyes alone. Jeremy Bernard at Alabama. I keep going. Honestly, I could. Isaiah Stanga's got this, but USC did a very good job of also advertising their guy, putting their guy out there. I got several emails from USC telling me exactly what Makai Lemon had done and who he had done it against. That's what you're supposed to do. And if you do the full court press, you can end up with a winner. And in a year where USC is 9-3, doesn't have a Heisman finalist, they have the best wide receiver in the sport, which is not new for Lincoln Riley. That's great. That's a great season. 9-3 with an individual award winner. But then you got Jeremiah Smith. And Jeremiah Smith has been that guy for some time. Even Curt Cignetti, going into the Big Ten championship, had the best, I think, quote about Smith. And remember, his team's 12-0, and they beat Jeremiah Smith. But before the game, he said, you cover him as well as you can, and you hope the ball is not placed well. I mean, he's a freak. He's a great player. He's the greatest player at that position that I've seen at that age. He's a weapon. Dude turned 20 on November 29th. 20. He played most of the season at 19 friggin' years old, and he's a sophomore. And Julian Sayin is the most accurate quarterback for a single season in history. So the ball was pretty well placed most of the time. And when you got both those things going on, you know what you get? 8 catches for 444 yards against Indiana. Yeah, they lost the game, but it wasn't because Jeremiah Smith wasn't absolutely cooking that secondary. But I put this to an NFL scout, who's been looking at Jeremiah Smith since he was named a week 1 starter for the Buckeyes. And he said, look, they kept that dude out of the end zone. That's a great team effort. But with that kid, it's not a question. He's been the best college player I've seen for 2 years now. I'd have given him the Heisman over the Hunter kid last year. You don't see them that good, put together, that young. That's a dude that's got to draft people. He's got to go into other offices and convince general managers at the highest level of football, this is the guy to take. And it's not even a question for them. They're all waiting on him to get to be draft eligible. We still get it for 1 more year. And he and I win the Biletnikoff Award. I had another dude that told me, look, everybody wants him. Only Ohio State has him. And when it became clear that their football team was worse because they didn't throw him the ball often enough and they changed up, he torched Tennessee. Torched them, right? Torched Oregon. Torched Notre Dame. Texas did the best job of taking them away, and they still weren't able to beat Ohio State. I think a lot of this is, frankly, because we're the people talking about Jeremiah Smith. And as my homie likes to say, that's the White Ranger over there, but the White Ranger ain't getting the kind of publicity that we would like to see him get. I think that I think he could go both ways. But I think Caleb Downs could also go both ways. And that one of the best players in college football, but because he plays a position that doesn't rate as highly as quarterback or wide receiver, you don't hear about him talked about much, but he was still a top 10 finalist for the Heisman this year. Think about it this way. You had 3 Ohio State Buckeyes among the 10 players that got the most votes for the Heisman. One of them was a safety. One of them was a wide receiver. One of them was a quarterback. Normally, you get that kind of attention. You're talking about, say, remember Mac Jones, Devontae Smith? But Devontae Smith had to go ape, 1,800 yards, receiving some like 22 touchdowns or 20 touchdowns, something crazy in that 2020 year where I genuinely believe that 2020 Alabama is the best college football team of all time. I mean it. That team is up to down, back to front, lethal. And they ran the friggin' table. Wasn't nobody stopping them. The team that I thought could get close to that was this Ohio State team, and they lost to Indiana. Now, Indiana might be able to get close to that, but I'm still going to have a hard time saying that is a team that could beat 2020 Alabama. We'll find out because they got to play later, in a week or 2 weeks from now. But I'm also like looking around and generally asking the question, what else does this dude have to do before we start bathing him in individual awards? Because now we're talking about the legacy of the sport. I really got to shout out to my homie Shehan Jayaraja, who covers the sport at CBS, because he makes a really great point years ago about Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, who was one of the best quarterbacks to ever play this game, and the only true freshman in the history of the college football playoff and in the 20th century to lead his team to a national championship, period. Okay? Jamel Holloway was the last dude we could think about doing that in the modern age. That's 1985. But because Trevor Lawrence played at the same time as Mac Jones, as Tua Tagovailoa, as Kyler Murray, we're talking about a dude that was not going to be eligible for the College Football Hall of Fame because the other guys had taken up those first-team All-America spots on other notable selectors, right? So he had to tell the FWAA, hey, we got to make sure that Trevor Lawrence is our first-team QB. Mac Jones is going to be first-team QB somewhere else in 2020. We know about Kyler. Joe Burrow 2019 comes along. We get all this, right? But somebody needed to make sure, quick, fast, and in a hurry, that Trevor Lawrence is on one of these teams. Otherwise, that dude would have been ineligible for the College Football Hall of Fame. So when people tell me that these individual awards don't matter or things like the Heisman Trophy don't matter, I say to some point that you got to point to a degree. But think about Diego Pavia. If Diego Pavia is not a first-team All-American across somebody's board this year or last, he might not be eligible for the College Football Hall of Fame. Now, there is a chasm between Diego Pavia and Jeremiah Smith, and they're playing 2 different positions, 2 different leagues, but their presence is very important. But if you ask somebody who they're going to select first in a game of pickup, in a game of badminton, in a game of spades, certainly in football, they're going to tell you, give me Jeremiah Smith. You take anybody else you want. Why did the Biletnikoff award not do the same damn thing?